Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to make a Discord bot that integrates with an LLM. So if you don't have a Discord bot already made, or you don't have a boilerplate repository, I'm going to link you guys below in one of my initial videos that shows how to make a Discord/command bot, how to set up all the environment variables and get it ready to go. That's going to be a requirement going to this in video that you either have a bot that works or you have a boilerplate repository that you built from another one of my videos. And I'll link that below. This is different than a lot of other videos you've seen because a lot of the other videos will use OpenAI API and it doesn't actually run the model on your computer. And the downside to that is, you get these really powerful models, but they come at a cost. It's going to be very expensive and it's gonna be very expensive and you don't have a lot of control over the data. So say you want to build some kind of model that does something very specific. We can talk about how to do that later in future videos and how to fine tune these models and how to train them to do something like a specific task. But it'll allow you to actually, get your feet wet into running an LLM on your computer and integrating it with a Discord bot, to create a really cool experience other bots might not have. So to do this, we're going to use a model called Llama 2. Llama 2 is made by Meta and it's an open source model. So everything about it is open source. You can fine tune it, you can train it, you can run it on your own computer. That's kind of the whole point of Meta creating these open source LLMs. So typically these LLMs require a lot of processing power to run. You're going to require some like A100 GPU in a data center. You might need 8 of them and it might require hundreds of gigs of VRAM. But I'm actually going to show you how you can do that with just a consumer graphics card using something called quantizing. So quantizing is when you reduce the precision point calculations that happen from LLMs. And it basically just takes more calculations to get to the end goal, which means it takes longer. You get lower throughput. And the recommended way to run these LLMs is going to be on your graphics card. So if you don't have a graphics card, don't leave. You can actually use CPUs. So you can use your M1 CPU, you can use your Intel CPU, you can use AMD CPUs. They're just going to be a lot slower. I mean, graphics cards are really good at parallelization of number calculations. That's kind of their whole point. And that's why LLMs and stuff run on these chipsets, but they can't be run on a CPU. And that's kind of the whole point of Llama C++, which is what this is all built on. So depending on the power of your CPU or GPU is how long it's going to take. Big caveat is that the CPUs just take way longer. I can get a generation out in 3 or 4 seconds with my GPU, but a generation might take, 40 seconds with a CPU. It just takes a lot longer. And the CPU is not as good at multitasking as the GPU. So I have a few example results that I attached in here from asking the bot to do something. You can see that it gives very good examples. A lot of people will say oh, well, nothing's as good as ChatGPT. It's not going to be trained on as much information, but you can see that these model weights that I'm using, which are open source, are very. And if you're not happy with them, you need some sort of weird use case or a specific use case. You can train the models yourself, and we'll go into that later in different videos. So the requirements of this video are going to be setting up Node Llama C++. I'll link this in the video, but this is the Node Llama C++ repository. It has a good walkthrough on how to set it up, problems you might run into, and what to do with that. I'm not going to show how to run this on the GPU because it's very complicated. It depends on your operating system. I'll probably make a future video on that. And that's what this CUDA refers to. So CUDA refers to running on your GPU. So I'm just going to show how to run your CPU because it's very simple. So the requirements are you're going to have this installed. So to have this installed, you're going to run these npx commands that it says here. I'm going to link you to a model weight system. I have one that I really like using. It's a 20 billion parameter model. It's inside of the repository, which I will also link. And the repository that I'm showing here is actually a Discord/command Node.js placeholder repository. This is where all of my example projects and example commands go. So when you guys have questions about what the code is, you can actually go to the branch and see how did I do it in the video and how does it work. We're going to build this command later though from scratch. So you need to have this installed. You need to have the model weights installed. If you're using my repository, it'll already be in this models directory, but I need you to go and download it. All of this will be in the description for you to go to yourself though. So once you have the Llama 2 stuff downloaded, it'll automatically download the Llama 2 C++ library for you inside of Node Llama C++. We're actually going to build a command just like I showed you. So like I said before, this is a placeholder repository. That's a boilerplate repository. So if you don't want to build something from scratch and you just want a good /command repository, go ahead and go to my repository. It's linked below. Leave it a star. It's a really good base for starting Discord bots. It has the configuration service, logger service, everything already set up. And if you want to see this LLM stuff that I'm talking about, it's on an LLM branch on GitHub to pull down. So we're going to create a new command called chat.js. And I'm going to walk through kind of step by step, what does this really do? How does it work? And how do we build another one? So inside of the libs, we're going to build another interaction down here. It's going to be called chat. We're going to move in interactions. We're going to say const path equals require path. We're going to need this library later to join the path and create an absolute URL to use. We're going to say /command builder. We need the attachment builder, and I'll show you guys later why. And then we're going to module.export this generic shape. So this is the shape I decided on this repository for how to build commands in a generic way. Copilot's kind of auto-completing from here. So we're going to .set name ask. We're going to .set description, ask a question to the bot. And we're going to say, we're going to add a string option. So you actually might want to call this chat because I already have a question command. And we're going to say, we're going to call this maybe chat with the bot. Chat to them. So once you have this /command built, this will actually register it with Discord as a /command, which I'll show. we're going to create the async execute command. This is where actually all of the code happens. So the first thing we're going to do here is we want to actually pull in the llama model. And you can see Copilot kind of tries to like autocomplete from here. I don't want to do that for the sake of the video, but we do want to put this all inside of a try catch because, you know, these models, they can be prone to failure sometimes. We're just going to console log error instead of the try catch. So we're going to say const llama model, llama context, llama chat equals await import node llama C++. The reason we have to do this is because we're using common JS import, and this is a ES6 import, which we have to use this syntax to actually import. If you're not using my repository and you're using ES6, great, then you can move this import to the top of the file. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna create this const model equals the new llama model. Difference is here, you're not gonna be using a GPU. We're gonna remove the GPU layers. Make sure your model file is downloaded up here in the models directory. And then we're gonna say the model path is the process current working directory / models / these model weights that I downloaded. We're going to create the context next. We're going to say const context equals new llama context. We're going to say const session equals new llama chat session. I think this is actually should be called llama chat session up here. And that's going to take in the context. And now we can actually get started. So the first thing we want to do when the bot actually gets the command is like respond with thinking, because this actually might take a long time for the bot to create a generation. It depends on how many tokens it outputs, but it could take a while. So we're going to say question 1 equals interaction.options.get question.value. We're going to say the answer is going to be await session.prompt q1. We're going to say prompt the model with this question. This is where the prompt engineering comes in. You can add like a big thing around this, like the pre-prompt model, but we're just going to say very basically ask a question. And the last piece we're going to do here is say if a1.length is greater than 1500 characters, we're going to say const attachment equals the new attachment builder.set file. We're going to take a buffer from the answer. We're going to set the name to answers.txt. This is going to get by the Discord issue that happens when you have more than 1500 characters in a message and attach it as a file, because sometimes these models do output quite a lot. Otherwise, we're going to say interaction.edit reply. And then we beneath this const attachment, we need to say await interaction.edit reply. We're going to say content answer files attachment. This is going to attach the file. So once you have all that code there, it's time to actually start the bot. So if you're using my boilerplate repository, make sure you have all the environment variables configured, and I'll link a video below that actually shows how to do that if you have not done it before. You're going to run npm run start. Once it's started, you should see blue text that says the bot is ready to start. It's not actually ready until it says client is rating has been initialized. So if you don't see that yet, it's not ready to go yet. Just give it some time to start up. It takes some time to register / commands with Discord. Remember, there's a register / command environment variable inside of one of the files. Make sure you set that to true. Like I said, if you need any help with this, I have other videos. Feel free to ask questions. So once we have that, we've started the bot and it's created our / command again. Now we can try the bot out and we can party. So I'm gonna say /chat, how are you? And we actually get a llama model is not defined error down here. So I think there's a typo here. Llama model. Yeah, there was a typo. So llama model was not defined. I think I just had a spelling error. You can see that the VS Code shows it as green, which means it did actually show up. So now let's try again. So we're gonna say /chat, how are you? You can see on the screen it's processing. I'm using a GPU, so it's gonna do all this stuff. It's thinking, which means it's processing on my GPU. You can see that it takes a while. The respondent might be outputting a lot of tokens, and we get a token response. So I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How can I assist? Oh, this is a very good answer. So we have a very basic command built here using the llama model. I didn't want this video to be too complicated. I just wanted to show the basics of what we can do. On later videos, I'm going to show how we can expand on this and make something really cool. But this is how you make a very basic Discord bot that interacts with llama. You can imagine you can do a lot of stuff on this. You know, these models can be used to do things like create static JSON. Like if you want to have it output some kind of JSON format and do cool programmatic things. It can really do a lot. And there's a lot of use cases out there on websites that you can see now. You can create agents that crawl the web. You can create so much. And I think that this is just the start, but this gives you a good foundation for integrating llama into your Discord bot. And I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, consider subscribing, follow my channel, like the video, and leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm always here to help viewers. So if you feel like you are struggling, you have questions, I'm always glad to hop in Discord or something and help you guys. And I'm considering doing live streaming too, to actually, do stuff in real time and kind of work with you guys and help you guys along. Thanks for watching and have a great day.